I want to talk for a moment about when people ask me to help with missing people. So I do a lot of remote viewing, and I can do that to help find lost pets or, lost items. And I also do it with missing people. But very often, um, there's there's a lot of reasons I won't do it. And for one, if it's just someone in the community that's curious, somebody's gone missing, and it's someone that's in the community that's just curious to know what happened. And then they will contact me and say, can you see where this person is? Now, I will say to them, well, what are you going to do with the information? Because if I actually see that they are still alive and that they can be helped in some way, what are you going to do with that information? Are you going to get in your car and drive around in areas that I can visualize? And you could be on a wild goose chase, because if it's in the bush somewhere and I'm seeing something, how do you know which direction to go? You can't tell the police, because the police will not listen to somebody that said a psychic told them. So a lot of the time, if you're just a curious bystander and you're asking for this kind of information, why would I give it to you? Like, you can't do any, you're like me, I can't do anything with the information either. You can't do anything with the information. If it's a direct relative, I will help if I can. Now, if I can visualize somebody that is still alive, I can sort of try to get directions. I can look on a map, like I'll look on a map of an area and pinpoint different areas, but it'll have to be up to the people, the relatives, to actually drive to a place. Sometimes I have in the past seen somebody that is alive, but they just don't want to be found yet, but they will show up again. And then in the instance where I actually see somebody that's passed, now this gets very, very tricky, because if you're a relative and you've got someone missing, the last thing you want to hear is that they've already passed. You're hopeful that someone's going to find them. And so I don't want to be the bearer of bad news. I hope I'm wrong. If I'm seeing somebody that's passed, I hope I'm wrong, because how would it be if I said to somebody that they've passed and they hadn't? Why? Like, that's a horrible thing to say to somebody. Also, sometimes I have visualized, this is in situations where something's been on the news, where someone's missing and nobody's asked me, but I have visualized how they passed, and it is not pleasant. And sometimes I think to myself, I don't want to see that. I'll just block it out. Why would I want to see that? So that's upsetting for my life as well. And sometimes I've had people contact me that have said, can you help find this missing person? And instantly I have felt like they've already passed away. There is nothing that can be done to bring them back. So and I don't want to get involved in the case. Like, I don't want to put my energy into it, because it is also disturbing for me. Just because I have an ability to remote view, it doesn't mean that my life's great and it's easy. It's sometimes very horrible to see things like that. And I don't want to get involved. I just don't want to put my energy into it. Sometimes spirit will say to me, don't get involved in this. Don't put your any energy into it. It's not up to me. And something else that in not long ago, there was a situation where an elderly lady had gone missing in Queensland, and I could see that she was still alive. She had just wandered and she had been gone for 4 or 5 days. That situation, I could see that the help was coming, but the person that was contacting me, that was asking me where she was, I could see that she was not meant to find her. Now, you might think this is a bit strange, that let's say somebody's missing and I can see where they are. I can't tell some people where to go and find them, because that person's not meant to find them. And you might think, why are they not meant to find them? Because the situation that the missing person is in, they may have blood on them. So they may be injured, they may have blood on them, they may have a medical episode and they need urgent medical help when someone finds them. So sometimes you're not the person that's equipped to be able to see that. If you were, let's say you're a concerned mum and you had your kids in the car and you were thinking, I can go and find that missing person. I'll go looking with my family in the car. And then if you found them and you came across them, and they were badly injured or they were panicked or there was something quite traumatic about the experience, you've exposed your children to that. You've exposed yourself to that. Now, even though it's a good thing that this person is found and there's help there, you could live with that trauma yourself. A lot of people don't stop and think about what it could do to themselves by finding something in a situation. And I always find that when, like the lady that was missing, the person that found her was already somebody that worked with SES and was trained to deal with situations like this, because most of us are not trained to come across an emergency. So again, that's another reason why I can't just tell some random person to go and find somebody, because they're not the person that's meant to find them. It's somebody else that's meant to find them. So it's quite a complicated system when you're trying to deal with looking for missing people. If I can sense straight away that I feel like they're alive, I can help where I can. But if I sense they're already passed, well, what can I do? They're already passed. It's like you're just looking for a body. You're looking for a body. And I don't always want to be the person that has to give that news. I just don't want to be in that situation. And it's kind of not fair sometimes to ask me to be in that situation as well. You've got to think, if you're contacting somebody who can remote view, if you're contacting them and asking them for help, you also have to think the pressure you're putting on that person too. So yeah, there's been quite a few cases, really good cases that I've been able to help with that have had a happy ending. And of course there's other cases that don't have happy endings. So yeah, that's just me just explaining. It's a lot more in depth than just asking a psychic to find somebody.